Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is June 25th, 2018, and today is Monday morning. So looking at the major economic events of the day, no news scheduled for today, but as the week continues, we'll see some further news actually come out from the markets. And then just another note, as a major event over the weekend, we had the elections in Turkey, and we'll take a look at the lira in just a moment. But let's see what's been happening in the markets at large. So we're going to take a look here at the Euro USD, and as you can see, we had a nice spike last week, okay, on the upside as we had this massive correctional move. Even before they had this particular move, we had the 125 to 117-ish level retracement, and then we've made this double bottom right here at 115.17-ish level and finally bouncing here. Now, what I believe we'll be doing as the week continues is that we'll be continue to trade in a range, the upper range here at 116.70-ish level and the bottom range 115.17-ish level until some sort of impetus, either external factor or what have you, is going to push us either on the upside or the downside. Okay, so we still have lots of room to play, and as the markets actually continue to correct themselves with the tariff wars that United States is imposing on the EU and the EU imposing reciprocally on the United States. So that still has what to actually fruit. Now looking at the GBP USD, we're trading at 132.29-ish level, and we're looking at a weekly chart, and we just want to show you how major this level is. Okay, we've had this level actually be a previous resistance level, a minor support level. So if we do break this, we could definitely go back to this 130.32-ish level. However, at this area, it might be a decent place actually on the downside for support level. However, if we look at a 4-hour chart, you'll see that we've actually spiked up, okay, and still holding this level at 132.52. So that's something to consider, all right? So if we do break this 132.29 with some volume and break the moving averages, we could definitely see it sell off further. Okay, so that's an additional play for today. Now, looking at the USD Swiss franc, we've been watching this very carefully over the last couple of weeks. Okay, now this has been a really great play, over the past week from a trend. Okay, as we've trended upwards from somewhat in the beginning of February, March, and we continue this uptrend, and then this massive rally that we capitulated at to one base. Okay, we then sold off, okay, and we broke the trend line. Now subsequently, this trend line was a support level, and if we've broken it on the downside, then guess what, it becomes a resistance level. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened, and we sold off last Friday from 99.53-ish level to 98.82. Now that's not a major correction, but a pretty decent trade for something that is, a plus trade. Okay, so 70 pips to pull out from an A plus trade is really fantastic. Okay, at these levels, I believe we'll be bouncing off of here from 98.70-ish level. Again, I believe we will be trading, in a tighter range, maybe between 99.53 and 98.70-ish level. So that's something to consider as the week progresses. Now, looking at the USD ZAR, this is really a major point that we're at right now, because this was previous support level, previous resistance. So this 1345 that we're flirting in right now is actually a major level. Okay, so if we do break it, we could see it continue to correct itself maybe to the low 13 area. However, if we do hold it, then that means this is the bottom of a range of a new trading range that we'll be in. At the top of it, 1394, at the bottom of it, 13. So this is really a very 1345, excuse me. So this is really a very important point, and we want to see this hold, okay, or we want to see it break, but we want to have some sort of conviction here, either on the upside or the downside. Now, looking at the Aussie USD, okay, like we mentioned before, the dollar getting, everything versus the dollar is pretty much trading in tandem, maybe besides the Japanese yen. But as we could see here, the Aussie dollar not bouncing as strong and not really holding its level like the euro and the GBP versus the USD. And if this is the leader, then guess what? We could possibly go back down to our lower ranges. So you really have to keep an eye on some of the leading indicators versus the lagging indicators versus the dollar, and to see which one is actually following what and if they're changing roles. Okay, that's really important fact. Now looking at the Japanese yen, made a correctional move from 110.58. That's a beautiful resistance level that we had, and we're correcting it down to 109.44. Now we're smack in the middle between our upper range and lower range support and resistance levels, so just be aware of that. Okay, we still have some room to go further down to this 108.61ish level. However, if you are short, okay, and you did catch this 110 level, you might want to take some money off the table, as this has been working towards your favor. Now, looking at the USD Canadian dollar, we're looking at a weekly chart, okay, and it's trading at 132.96, and you see that it's not really retracing, okay, it's holding its own, not really, coming in at all, okay, which seems to imply that it's going to go even higher. It's going to get weaker versus the US dollar, and that's something to consider as these trade tariff wars between the US and Canada are, taking shape and, having the ripple effects down the line. We're looking at it in real time right now. So this is something to consider, as a future move versus the dollar. However, what's changing the character here, if we look at the price of oil jumped last week to $69 a barrel. And now taking somewhat of a correctional move, even though the OPEC said that they'll sustain inventory levels at its current level and, produce more oil in order to sustain the price and make it not go higher, we did spike up. Okay, so we are at resistance level at 69.14, and you see we're selling off a little bit, but not really, correctional move. So perhaps this week we'll get that correctional move in the price of oil. Now, jumping back into the Turkish lira, you see that we're having that correctional move this morning. We said that if the previous prime minister is going to be reinstated, you'll see the Turkish lira get stronger, and sure enough, that's what we're getting right here, 44.75, and slowly just trickling down. Now, this was a support level, and we look like we're actually breaking it right here at 459-ish level. Okay, we just made a correctional move as we've been speaking this morning, and we can continue going further down to 449-ish level. Okay, that can still happen later today, but be wary and do trade responsibly, because this can trade very volatile at any given moment, as anything could happen in elections, as we've seen with the United States. Now, jumping into the Dow Jones, a massive retracement last week we had, okay, taking into consideration 24,432. So we're at a minor support level right here. If we do break it, then we could go back to the 24,242. And if we do break that, then we could go back to 23,700-ish level. Okay, so that's something to consider as we go into the summer months. Now, the NASDAQ also corrected itself last week from its all-time highs to 71.77. I don't think we've seen the end of this. I still think that we have an upside in the US markets, okay, but they're going to have to take fruit, and they're going to have to take shape over time. I don't think it's going to happen overnight. Now, jumping lastly to Bitcoin, all right, we've seen a massive correction here, breaking that support level, that last support level off of our Fibonacci retracements. As you can see here, we're trading at 61.15, and we never really bounced above it. Now, I'd like to see this. If it does show me some sort of conviction that it's correcting itself, I'd like to see it continue breaking this 66,000 level, okay, 6,000 Bitcoin level, for it to go further down. So that's something to keep an eye out as the market continues to trade with Bitcoin this week. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.